So Carlton come on to the SCG. Dale Thomas, big night for him. No longer having his old mate Mick Malthouse kicking the ball at him for the first time in his career. So it's a new beginning for Dale Thomas. So to the other Carlton football players, recognise, I'm trying to read the oldest continuous living cultures in the land. So a tribute there to the Indigenous people of Australia, and there's some plenty of great players, and I think of the great Sid Jackson being one of the all-time greats of our football lives and of the Carlton Football Club. Derm, this is the team that represents Carlton tonight.
Absolutely. Well, I think they'll probably get Rowe slide over onto Tippett, and you'll give White a shot at Franklin. He gives away 7 centimetres and 14 kilos. Maybe Henderson, who's named on a wing, he won't play there, he could slide back if Buddy gets a roll on. Casbolt up forward. Walker will probably start up there as well, I'd say. And Chris Yarran named at centre-half back. He'll play centre-half back as... Well, I won't say that. Yeah, look, a wonderful player. He is the real spark of Carlton. Now, if they're down, they'll last, so be it. But that's the type of player that drags people through the gates. He's... like things like that, you just hear this mimip, he's into him, and he is a genuine crowd puller when he's allowed to run.
And another one of our magnificent Indigenous players, mate.
He is capable of anything.
Yeah.
He just doesn't push himself hard enough, I reckon.
I'd almost say to him, I don't care if you get caught and dragged down 6 times a match.
I agree.
Take him on, split him open.
On a week of unrest at Carlton, to say the least, the Sydney Swans continue to show why they're such a stable club tonight, with their president announcing that Andrew Ireland has been appointed to 2018 as Chief Executive Officer and elevated to the board as Managing Director of the Sydney Swans. So they're just underlining their stability up in Sydney. And Barry, this is a team that looked very, very good last week.
Yeah, no, they were outstanding last week. The big news, obviously, this week is Heath Grundy out of the side. That's a big blow for them. He's really solid down back. Brandon Jack comes into the side as a sub. But the debutant, Dan Robertson, a local from Sydney, Mosman, 20 years of age, comes in for his first game of football. But the player in focus this week is Mitchell, Tommy Mitchell. Geez, he's been outstanding the last 3 weeks. He's had 28, 33, 25 last week. He was unbelievable. He went back to Sam Mitchell, who was dominant in the second quarter. In the second half, shut Sam Mitchell down, who's a quality player, we know that. So he can run with, he can get the ball himself. His kicking's a little bit scratchy, and that's probably the biggest knock on him. But, geez, he's a hard nut. He can tackle, and, geez, he can get the pill at will.
He does make the odd blue at the setups, going to the wrong spot, which gives the opposition a little look at the ball, which his clearance coaches aren't all that happy with.
Yeah, but he's only a young bloke, isn't he? And he gets plenty of it. So a good father-son result for the Sydney Swans there, the son of Barry Mitchell. Back to the lab, boys.
They need something, Ed. They need something to spark this attack here for the Sydney Swans, because it's been down on last year, Jono. Look at the numbers, how considerably they've dropped. Number 1 for opportunities inside the forward 50. And this is the big one for me. 5th to 11th in terms of scoring from turnover. That's 60% of scores in AFL games. So that's the big drop-off.
Yeah, their ball movement just hasn't been fluent when they've been getting it back from the opposition. But, look, big opportunity tonight, hasn't it, to get that attack right. They'll have plenty of ball in hand. Inside 50s, they should see plenty of it, the forwards as well, to hit the scoreboard. Next week, they play the Suns. I know not to look forward too much, Kingy, but the next 2 weeks, they can actually stabilise this a little bit to then go after the bye.
They'll all end up number 1 by the end of the night if Jono's right and Buddy kicks 19.
You can say that again. Boys, let's take a break. As you can see, we're just about down to 4 minutes and counting for the opening bounce. It's all happening up at the SCG tonight. There's Signacious Swan and plenty happening up there. Lots of action as we get set for what is going to be a fascinating night. It could be a car crash, but you know, it could well be the renaissance of the Carlton Football Club, or at least the first step. That's what we want to see tonight on Friday Night Football. So on this Indigenous round, one of our greatest footballers and great Australians in Adam Goods stepping forward there. And isn't it wonderful to see Andrew Walker, another wonderful Indigenous player, exchanging of the gifts, the traditional art of Indigenous Australia, the boomerang, the signal. And we saw Dan Sultan playing before the break up there, the entertainment tonight. The toss of the coin, let's see if you can get a win here, sellers. Let's see if we win the toss for Carlton just to start. Oh,
no.
Well, the seller's prediction.
That's good, I like that.
All right.
Nothing wrong with losing the toss.
At these days, you do a lap of honour if you win it. All right. Wonderful sounds of the didgeridoo echoing right around the SCG tonight. And Derm, as we just build up to this big bounce, this opening bounce, it really has to set the scene for Carlton, no doubt. Your thoughts, your final thoughts on this moment for that club?
Absolutely. Well, this is the moment it all starts again for them. Good luck to Johnny Barker. He's in his 9th year of coaching. So this is the moment, and it will be set. The tone will be set by the first bounce.
Well, the first 10 minutes for me, we'll know what both clubs are going to be in for. The Sydney Swans switched on. Yes, they're expected to win this game big, but are they mentally in this game? Will Carlton come out of the blocks? They need to. If there's any chance to win this game, they need to get out of the blocks.
Oh, well, it's not judged by the scoreboard, the Blues, I think, tonight. No. It'll be judged by how their effort is and what sort of teamwork they put together, because that's most important to actually kick a score.
All right, so the ceremonial pleasantries about to end, and we're into it now. And look at that, undersized and undermanned Simon White, but he's in and having a go, and that's the first thing we wanted to see Carlton show a bit of spirit. Umpire blows the whistle. Let's get into it right now. It's Indigenous round. It's Sydney and Carlton.
Hangs a long time in the air. Pike knocked it down. Jack works it forward. Thomas gets onto it. Held a long time. He'll get a free kick. Parker on his way, but the ball is coming back to Thomas. Ooh. One umpire telling the other. The alarm went off. Pay 50. And that was just lazy, and that's the problem, I guess, coming in for the Swans, coming off such a terrific victory last week against a side like Carlton. You could be a bit lazy, a bit fat, do you think?
Well, anyone playing AFL footy can really play the game of AFL footy. So if they get confidence and you let them get up and about early, it's going to be a hard night for the Swans. So lazy little things like that, and it wasn't a big thing, it was just off the mark. But the Swans, they'd want to start well early, and then they just set up the night, and they make it an easier night for themselves by the end of the game.
Patrick Cripps then. Not a bad-looking kick. It'll fall in a bit short. Was a touch, though. Yes, it was. Pike, last man in the queue. Fingertips to it, and a behind.
We've seen Carrazzo do some big jobs in the last couple of weeks. He's gone straight to Luke Parker, who has been an absolute fire the last 3 weeks.
So, McVeigh, you said Carrazzo, Duck. Did you mean Curnow?
Oh, sorry, Curnow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Carrazzo back in the team
That's
tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Curnow got up Joel Selwood's
yes.
nose of it last week, didn't he?
He sure did.
Carrazzo was doing that over the years, wasn't he?
He has. He's going to be an umpire now. What we've heard.
He's thinking about it. Yeah, be good.
Well, that's good, isn't it? So Pike, Cunningham, Jetta, with that familiar pace of his, but he's sprayed that out. Such a barometer, I think, Jetta. Simpson. It's good last week. His contested marks early were a highlight for the Blues. Back to Tui.
Plays on now. Very short. Carranzo. Everett deep in his own defensive area. Has a look towards the outer side. Goes for some distance. To no one in particular, though. Bounces on. Up comes Henderson. Reed's got him, and the ball spills out of bounds. So it'll be tossed in. So Carranzo, the umpire. Do we reckon that guys with a feeling for the black arts understand umpiring a little more, chaps?
Oh, yeah, I hope so. He's got a degree in that, Dan.
He does.
He knows all the tricks. Thomas, so he's a couple of early disposals for him. McVeigh, so good late last week when going forward to Shaw. His brother plays his 200th this week. Good, caught. Just get the kick away, though. But a poor kick. That was probably the only knock on Adam last week because he played well.
It actually is Carrazzo on Parker. It's Curnow on Hanbury.
So I've messed you up, Duck. Walker, the half forward. Menzel. I was just trying to help you, Duck, but I think forward pockets should stay away from centre-half forwards, don't you?
It's too much Carlton. Here's Tui. Thomas inside the 50. Miscues completely. It wanders down towards the pocket in front. Casbolt knocked away by Richards. Stumped forward by Everett. Armfield across the body. And it bounces harmlessly through for a behind. So Carlton doing all the attacking and lead by 2 points.
And defending pretty well too, Dennis. Their pressure's been okay. They've tackled all right and they've stopped the outlets. Even now, Jared McVeigh didn't have an obvious kick to go to from full back. This is the thing they've got to stop, though. Once Sydney get out, they do move it quick. Again, well done by Carlton.
Short of Rampy, who kicks it outside the 50. Menzel didn't have the footy. Rampy, Hanbury. And there's the youngster along the boundary line. First gamer, and we've liked the look of him in the warm-up, didn't we, Bruce? Number 27 is Daniel Robinson. He was down to be the sub, but of course with Heath Grundy pulling out suddenly, those duties have fallen to Brandon Jack.
He is a likely type, but with a great backstory. Sydney boy. Xavier for a year. More about that later. Cripps, that's a terrific smother from Mitchell. And here he is, Robinson, and getting the ball forward to the pocket. Chip it in a one-on-one with Rowan, a boundary throw. He went to Riverview here, which is a big Jesuit school, and then he went to Xavier in year 12, so he's one of 6 on the Swans list that can say they're an ex-Xavier college boy. Famous sporting college and academic college in Melbourne.
Which one would they like that? Academic or sporting? Cripps quickly smothered off the boot of Doherty. Tatu played pretty well last week. Goes to ground a little too easily. And we'll have a ball up.
Doherty's just got to watch Adam Goods here at these stoppages. He always gets on the fly coming through, and he just lost touch on him that first occasion.
About 35 metres out from goal.
So Tippett doing the ruck work with Wood. So Wood, 15 consecutive games for him now, late last year and this year. Not sure if he's done that too often. Tut runs into a brick wall, and he's gone.
Gee, that's what Buddy does so much better over the last couple of years. He tackles, and he tackles so fiercely too. He really makes them hurt. The Swans would love that about him. It's not just about kicking goals, it's everything else he does off the ball.
So 2 of the last 3 matches he's played, he hasn't scored. I think only 18 times in his whole career he's been goalless, and a few of those were early on, so it's a remarkable career. If he kicks this as his 100th goal as a Swan, so he'll bring up the century, and he'll be halfway to Plugger. So he's got a bit of work to do to catch the great one, but well, that's for later because he's put it to the top of the square. Oh, Parker got up so high. Bell untackled and getting away.
Towards the outer side then. Bounces obligingly for Smith. Terrible kick. Straight up in the air just inside the 50. Parker again. Another crack at it. Falls in front. Cunningham. Tackled by Curnow and taken down, and we'll have a ball up.
We can see what Parker's trying to do. He's trying to go forward and really exploit Carrazzo on that occasion. Didn't quite mark it, but that's his intent, to get there and put pressure.
Mitchell, Kennedy, hurried kick down towards the behind post. Rowan launched himself. It bounces through for a behind. So halves the margin. It's 2 plays 1. Doherty wasting no time. To himself, drives it outside the 50. In front, Laidler, reaching over the top. Jones almost. Everett's got it. Tackled. Gee, Robinson again, fighting the footy. Goods loops a hand pass into the path of Jack. Natural kicking, foot downwards, full forward. Well, the pressure was good. It affected the kick, but the ball strayed onto the chest of Franklin. He decides to play on, runs around and kicks a goal. So 7-2, early going on a Friday night. Buddy Franklin, as we said, scoreless last week. On the score sheet tonight with the first goal of the match. Players like Buddy Franklin get angry when they don't have a good game. They go away and they sulk. And they come back and do stuff.
I love this from Adam Goods. Just clever, just waited. Handball over the top, into the path of Kieran Jack. Under pressure. If that had been a little bit behind him, he wouldn't have got his kick away, wouldn't have got to Buddy Franklin. Terrific play by Adam Goods.
So 100th goal as a Swan for Buddy. Carrazzo, Wood, quick kick forward. Gets it inside that forward 50. Richards took off at the back. McVeigh read it best. Jack up to Smith, to Parker. What a fine young player he is, to Mitchell. And they've run this really well. Cunningham. Free kick.
Sydney. You only beat you were both doing it. In the end, you just continue with it.
Well, what he meant to do is probably a decent question because Buddy was one out with no pressure on that ball coming down, and in the end, probably one of the more obvious free kicks you would see on a footy field.
That's a defender's worst nightmare when you've got on-ballers running down, they've got plenty of space. And in the end, he thought, well, I'll at least take my chances and give away a free. It was going to be a...
Mind you, Buddy does have a little bit of Simon White's head as well there.
He does.
So Franklin for a second goal within a minute, and he's got it. So Franklin with a couple. Duck, if I put the pressure on you, how many tonight do you reckon? Have a think about it. Have a think about it. I'll ask you in a minute or so. How many do you reckon he'll pick? And you've got to try and get within one, all right?
Well, it will be more than a handful, Bruce.
So Plugger must have been pretty good. 681 he's got, chasing 1360. And the Swans' Indigenous jumper being worn very proudly by Buddy there. Adam Goods' mum designed it, Lisa Sansbury, and it looks fantastic.
Tippett favoured by the bounce, but the umpire wants it back. 13 plays 2, back-to-back goals for Buddy Franklin. Tippett on the way down this time. Ooh, coming in strongly was Parker. Graham put down too high. So Graham gets the free kick, plays on immediately. Yaron alongside the centre circle, sends it inside the forward 50. Reid over the top, got a fist on it, follows up, in trouble. Strong tackle by Doherty, got him down. Thomas, a clever hand pass. Cripps, brilliant. Doherty in the grasp, arm field, close to the boundary, looks infield. Hand passes across towards Walker, in turn to Menzel. And Menzel, well, it's worth the effort, I guess. Tried to go with the outside of the boot. Didn't miss by much.
Shows he's got a real footy IQ, doesn't it? I mean, it was a very clever attempt. Jetta, so quickly out the Swans here, unlike in the early stages of the match. So Franklin with a couple of early goals. And then just setting it up for Robinson. So Daniel Robinson, first gamer, was going to be the sub. Kicks to full forward, actually to the pocket. Getting back Simpson. Just quickly, Duck, I mean, 2 for Franklin. What do you reckon he might get tonight?
They're going to have time and space like they have already at the start of this quarter. You'd expect at least a handful or more. I mean,
Fred Fanning's record in doubt. 18?
It's early stages, but you'd expect 7+ tonight.
So Pike, Casbolt, Tui, Graham hacking it forward, gets it up to about half back.
Henderson. Now Tutt, sweeping hand pass, runs on. Bell in trouble. Incorrect disposal, holding the ball is called. So Jetta back inside the centre square. McVeigh finds himself in space, but the kick is chopped off well. Thomas on his knees. Simpson able to retract it. Got it back in. Graham crunched. Now a chance for McVeigh. Over the top, Simpson. Spills to Parker. Can't get through. Graham got him. Arnfield a hot one. Yaron did well. Comes to Menzel. Menzel goes down towards half forward. Get out of the way. Sure. Working double time on Walker. Gutsy attempt at the mark by Rowan. Running out of space. Tried to nutmeg him, if you don't mind. And now the ball goes out of bounds.
Gee, that was a good battle, wasn't it, between Doherty and Rowan?
Sam Doherty's been good this year. Look at the tackle numbers there. That's what we wanted. 7 from Carlton, 4 from Sydney. That's what they've got to. That's what they've got to build their game on. Their competitiveness. They're having a crack at the contest and then putting the pressure on the opposition.
They're against the benchmark too in terms of tackles, aren't they, in the Swans? So Shaw's kick to really open things up. Laidler looks up, Franklin, and he juggled it. And he'll have a 4th shot on goal, to be honest, because his first one to the top of the square, I think, was a shot for Shaw. So Thomas.
Probably lucky that one missed from Daisy, but
that's not competitive stuff.
No, that's just silliness. Lucky he missed because he'd be missing a number of weeks. But once again, just too much time and space. Body. When you've got that much time, there's nothing White can do.
So he's such a prodigious long kick, Franklin. It's a beautiful kick. He's kicked 3 goals in a hurry.
Did I say 7, Bruce?
You did.
Can I correct myself?
Well, there's a long way to go, but he's It's hard to do, as you know, but he's made the perfect start. Ducky would have been hungry too because he's had 2 goalless matches in the last 3.
He has, and you're right. He'd want to kick a bag tonight, but just so much time and space that they do have to start looking for other options. It's really important that they don't just go buddy conscious.
He's looking hungry, Duck. I reckon more than a handful could be on the cards. What's it feel like when you just know that you're up and about as a forward?
Oh, look, it's a great feeling when you've, as I said, on ballers have got that much time and space, but it's important they use the right option tonight and don't become buddy conscious.
Wood knocked it down. Carrazzo did well. Graham out wide. Armfield. High ball. Down towards full forward. The numbers favours Sydney. Shaw goes back, takes the mark, plays on. Richards, 6th time in his career, Buddy, with 3 first-quarter goals. I think there's a move, too. I think someone else, maybe Rowe, has gone on to Buddy Franklin. He has. He's gone with a fire extinguisher. Here's Doherty across half-back and Everett.
So Everett, who was, of course, a former Swan. In fact, he and Laidler were on the opposite teams in that famous Royal Wedding match here, and Juddy turned it on in atrocious conditions 3-4 years ago when Carlton actually won on the Friday night here. So Laidler was playing for the Blues and Everett was playing for the Swans. Just a half a dozen Carlton players are playing tonight. And if you count Grundy, there were 13 from the Swans.
John Barker making that move, as Dennis just said. Rowe going on to Buddy. And unfortunately, that means Simon White then goes on to either Adam Goods or Kurt Tippett. So not a lot of relief for Simon White on Goodsy at the moment.
I might think about this later, but for Franklin, I know it's a team game, but any chance he's got in the Coleman, I reckon he needs a bag tonight. He's a long way back. Josh Kennedy, the front runner, Eddie Betts snapping at his heels. Tex Walker, Jeremy Cameron up there. He needs a bag tonight to have a chance for the Coleman.
Jack out of the congestion. There he is again. Tried to knock it to Mitchell, nothing doing. Armfield taken down. Mitchell's got a fair piece of that. The ball up will take place. 23 goals now for the season for Buddy. Now, there's a Sydney free kick well off the ball. It's going to Franklin against Rowe. Now, he's too far out to score, although he's feeling it. There goes the kick. Take something off it. Not a good one. Doherty with some courage there. Oh, just missed Robinson on the way to Thomas. And the overlap is Simpson. Great game last week. In front Walker. Rampy knocks it away. McVeigh heard the voice, went to Hanbury. Hanbury knew where the help was, went to Jack.
Good looking kick from Jack to Rowan. Courage from Thomas. Ball squeezed out the back. Tui, that was terrific. On the up to Tutt. A lot of the ball last week, Tutt. Some of it untidy, but the effort was there. That one eludes Bell and Shaw. Getting back Pipe. Jetta, not going to catch him. Neat looking kick to Richards. Xavier Boy to Cunningham. Then Cunningham to Reid. So important, I think, Reid. I mean, he's a missing jigsaw puzzle, I think, down back maybe for them.
Well, he's been good as that swingman. He's played a little bit up on the wing, so he's able to float forward. Last week actually went forward and kicked his 2 goals against the Hawks. So just starting to gain in confidence and really feel like he belongs, I think, at this level and in this side.
Versatile like his brother. As Rampy got it from McVeigh. Looks inside the forward 50. Put some punch on the kick, and Rowan is tackled down there by Cripps. So Rowan will line up. About 35 metres out, if that. So a sluggish start for the first couple of minutes, and now it's all Sydney.
Well, they're playing it perfectly now, Dan. They're just locking it in there, half of the ground. They're using the ball well. That was just panic, but this one maybe not so. Hanbury getting the free kick, a little bit going on. Sorry, getting the handball away. A little bit going on with him and Carrazzo, and then after that, a fair bit of push and shove. So Carlton are certainly scrapping away. Sydney handling it very well.
So Rowan right behind him. Kick is on the way. It's coming back nicely through the middle. 25 plays 3. Build-up was good. And Rowan. What a big game last week. So tonight, keen to make an impression. Just over 8 minutes remaining in the opening term. And it's got a familiar feel about it. We've seen a bit of Carlton lately.
We have. So that's surprising, isn't it? Nothing much happening on the scoreboard for them, though. They had a good opening 4 or 5 minutes. But Sydney having their way with the Blues now. Wood wins the tap, so is it going to be 5 zip out of the centre? That's a stalemate, and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, the Blues have rolled Henderson back now. I think they want to limit the damage before quarter time. They put Henderson back behind the footy.
Back in the team. So important for them. Kennedy, quite a opening term for him, I think.
Good tackle there by Tom Bell, and Richo pointed out Henderson playing loose. That's important. You don't want to be blown away completely in the first quarter and lose all your confidence. Just limit the damage a little bit. Sydney round him up pretty quickly. Now they drop Zach Tui back off, so they just want that spare just to help out their defenders, just to give their defenders a little bit of hope that the cavalry will arrive eventually.
So Armfield with a scrubby kick to about 50. Menzel just timed a little bit of McGlynn 150, gets a high one.
Sydney!
And a free kick. Terrific goer, isn't he, McGlynn? You'd love him to win a premiership. He's been unlucky in September.
Grew up barracking for the Blues, did Ben McGlynn. Favourite player, Anthony Koutoufides. Reed out of defence. Drifting back out there, McVeigh. Looks back to the corridor. Playing with confidence. McGlynn runs hard from half-back. Looks inside the forward 50. Kicks to space. Here comes Franklin. Will he get there? No, he won't. Ed Curnow, sensing the danger, sniffed it out and got back to take the mark.
Good kick to Rowe as well.
Excellent.
Acting captain. Well, 2 captains tonight, Henderson and Rowe. So, which I don't think Rowe would have thought he was going to be captain at the start of the year in any single match, but all about the injuries to Murphy and to Gibson. And of course, Judd not playing. Henderson, good mark. Yaron, such a talent. So good to watch when things are happening. To Thomas. He would have had a difficult week, Daisy, a difficult month. Very close to Michael Malthouse. We know that. So Bell out wide. He's trying up a bit as a goal kicker. He's still the leading goal kicker at the club this season.
What's his total? 10?
Yep.
He's in double figures. Rampy, terrific mark, not paid. Casbolt, who should be their leading goal kicker. Opportunity for Thomas, ran into a dead end. Kennedy was waiting, took him down. Ball up.
One weird thing about the goal kickers, didn't Carlton have got 6 blokes coming tonight that have kicked more than 5. Sydney have only got 3 that have kicked more than 5 for the season coming into tonight, but their top end, of course, is sharp.
Graham, Carranzo, centering kick. Nice one too. Jones gets on the end of it, 60 metres out. Simpson. And that was well stifled by a Sydney player running hard to cut him off, but it doesn't matter. The kick goes into Bell. Feed him when he's hot. He's got 10.
Well worked, though, by the Blues. Just controlled the footy, and their forwards kept on moving. They kept on leading, which forced the Sydney defenders to actually play on them. A little bit of space opened up and allowed Tom Bell to find that space and get this set shot at goal.
Through all of this, he's been one of their better players, actually. Finding some consistency. Big body, got some speed. He should kick this. Margin at 22, and I think he's pulled it. He has. He misses. They can ill afford to waste any opportunities. That goes without saying.
Mitchell. His father knows these 2 clubs well. Richards. Would have played a bit of footy with Dustin Fletcher, wouldn't he, in the early days when Dustin wasn't 40. Good mark to Goods. So he hugs the line, Goods, and so sure about that kick, but Wood and Tippett, and then Mitchell's quick kick forward under pressure and it's out on the full. So a bit untidy there.
Sydney defending it well, though. They're just... Sorry, Carlton defending that one well, though. They're just slowing Sydney up a little bit. There was a risk that Sydney were getting all that ball through the middle part of the ground under no pressure. Carlton just wrestling it back to a little bit of a nil-all arm wrestle at the moment.
And I guess the prime move was Luke Parker and Hanbury. Hanbury the 2 possessions. Parker's only the 1, so Carlton boys doing the job there.
Yeah, good 5-minute patch.
White's kick worked out okay. Bell close to the boundary. That's a push in the back by Richards. Blatant. So Casbolt gets it too far out to score. Wry smile from Richards there. Not sure what he was thinking. Casbolt, an erratic kick. But from here, kicks it long down towards the pocket. They probably want a stoppage out of bounds. Well, they won't get it. Laidler, I think, punched it and marked it.
I thought we touched it first then.
Not often they call that.
Sam touched it first. Thanks, Jeremy. Back here.
Pike engages Wood early. Kerno got first touch. Was it high? No. So here's the one Dennis was talking about. So.
Nah, probably fair call.
I think Reid had a little bit of that, didn't he?
We'll ask Carato, eh? So here's Kerno. Thomas. And that ball not coming out. So a real scrum at the top of the square here.
Thank you.
It's a good point, Duck and Lingy made. I mean, Hanbury, Parker and Kennedy all get around 30 a match, but not much between them in the opening quarter so far. 5 collectively between those 3.
Oh, that's a ticking time bomb, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a worry.
Yes, not a good thing.
But just little wins like that for Carlton is part of them building their competitiveness. I like the fact they've been able to do those jobs. The goal here would get a bit of a reward for that effort.
Hanbury to Parker. Parker kicks it directly to Casbolt. Now the adventure begins. This is mid-range, so we're not sure where he's at. Levi Casbolt directly in front, about 35 metres out.
Kieran, no closer, please.
He's kicked 7-6 this season. Only 1 goal in 4 games against Sydney. Career high 4, 3 times. Most recently round 6 against Brisbane. What a build-up, and he comes. I think he's got it. Levi Casbolt. Good on him. Not confident in close, but that was a good effort. He's got a powerful kick. That's the contradiction, really. It's a powerful straight kick when he's got confidence and kicks through it. Anyway, that's a much-needed goal and pulls it back to 15. You just got the feeling if Sydney got the next goal, as a contest would be in trouble. But Carlton getting it is good news.
Well, the much talked about kicking action. You can see there he actually drops the ball. There's a fair distance between the drop and the foot coming through, but it hit the foot correctly on that occasion. Still not technically great.
Got the result that the Blues needed. So Cripps to centre-half forward. Good mark to Smith. Quarter time, Richo will speak to Stuart Dew, by the way. And Stuart, of course, high on everybody's list of maybes at Carlton, but certainly very much a Swan. So Franklin with a fantastic kick of his to tip it. Well done, Henderson, but Jack with a chance. So he's tucked away in the pocket. A couple to beat. Henderson flipped it over the back, not sure why. Kerno back to Simpson, wrong side for him. Has to scrub it a bit. Buddy has to go fishing, and he does, and quickly releases to Jetta. Now can Jetta get away? Back to Smith. Smith wrong side for him, and finds Richards. Richards has got Shaw wide. Sydney look like they're nearly out. Walker to corral him. This is the important contest here. Beautiful kick. McVeigh couldn't hold it. Tutt back inboard to Cripps.
Missed the target though. Down goes Robinson. Strong tackle. Ball jarred out of there.
Back, Sydney Swans. Sydney.
Where was that? It's going to Robinson. Didn't see it, but Robinson's getting the free. He's making a good start, this young man. He's 21. Kicks it down towards half forward. Tui, very conscious of Goods, who'd slipped over. Knocked towards the line by Simpson. Well, did that come off the boot? Well played by Parker. Ricochets off Doherty, and the umpire is going to pay what?
I think
Battery throw-in.
Kate Simpson's appealing for out on the full. I think he should be quiet because I thought it was out the full off his teammate.
I reckon it was.
Yeah, Parker was a flicker of a backer, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Don't get technical. So,
no, it was off Parker. It was off himself, so he's
I
flipped it
down
on his own leg.
Cade.
No, that's an honest face.
we had the numbers, but you won.
So Simpson sharp, but not getting it. Pike laying it down. Parker, Jetta. It's a good long kick, Jetta, and that is a good long kick! It's great to watch Jetta. All those misses in that early season of his. I can't remember, was it 19 consecutive points or something like that? Anyway, he's a fabulous talent.
And then you come to me. As the ball goes up towards the wing, off hands, Graham couldn't find a way through. Jones, wide of the pack. Smith did well, got it to Laidler, fires in a low one, brilliantly half volleyed by Kennedy. Too hot for McGlynn. Jack, still going. Jack, Cripps is over the football, finds it. He's found immediately by Robinson, and we've got a ball up. 31 seconds out from quarter time. Swans lead by 16, but a lot of grit and determination coming from Carlton at the moment. Slugging it out. Goods flying through. Carranzo scuffs it forward. Down goes Cunningham. Rolls to Everett. Got a hand pass to Rowe. Tackle by Franklin. Carranzo came again. Everett. Armfield. Hard at Everett. Now Curnow over the football. 14 seconds remaining.
Geez, in trouble. He's gone. He had the wrong bloke chasing him, and I think John Barker's just had his worst moment as a coach right there and then.
He had a prior opportunity at Curnow and certainly holding the ball, but and a 50-metre as well against Dale Thomas there. I'm not sure the tackle, though, was legally executed. I'd love to have another look as to whether or not it was high or potentially in the back as well. Certainly should have kicked it earlier than what he did, but maybe could have got a free kick the other way.
So Rowan to kick his second goal to join Franklin. Franklin with 3, Rowan with a couple, and don't know if the Blues deserve this. They battled really hard in the last 10 minutes of this quarter, but Sydney with a good lead at quarter time. A 5-goal opening term, Buddy with 3. A free kick and a 50, still a little spot fire here and there. So quarter time here at the SCG, Indigenous round, and it's the Swans by 22 over the Blues. So some of the highlights from the opening term. Franklin was superb. 3 goals in a hurry for Buddy. And at quarter time, the Swans with that late goal really stretched the lead, didn't they? With Franklin and Rowan the goal scorers, they lead 32-10 over the Blues.
See every episode, same time as the US. Aquarius, the full season premiere, exclusive to Presto, May 29.
Stewie, how are you seeing it up in the box? It was just a methodical build-up, I thought, that quarter by the Swans.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought we gave them a few too many uncontested marks, and Jones was able to spot up that one inside 50, so not real happy with that, but I thought in the end, Gary Rowan's chase was outstanding.
Yeah, it was. They've been a good centre clearance team this year, Carlton. They've continued in that first quarter. How do you fix that up?
Yeah, 0-5. We give 2 free, so, they're not great when you give them centre clearances here at the SCG. So, honestly, we got beaten inside there, so we'll look for a bit of improvement.
Daniel Robinson got the call up from the sub when Grundy went out, and he looked really good.
Yeah, he's clean, Robbo, and you would have seen already tonight. It's greasy, but he's nice and clean and pretty composed, so he's been waiting a while.
Thanks, Stewie.
Yeah, cheers, thanks.
Thanks, mate.
So Stewie there with Richard. Now let's go back to that tackle, the right on quarter time. So was it a legitimate tackle by Gary Rowan?
Well, I just wasn't sure. Ed Curnow should have. Oh, he's nearly tripped, and the tackle continues in the back. But no, in the end, that is holding the ball. Glad we got another look at it. But great tackle, great chase by Gary Rowan. Went back and slotted the goal. Ed Curnow just had no options to go to. It's that composure with the footy that's been the big difference. Carlton's had a crack, but Sydney just far too skilled and far too good in that first quarter.
Started the second term. Swans lead it by 22. Franklin's got 3. Pike at the second attempt. Cripps, who's been handy. Hanbury on the ground. Wood missed it. Everett too slick there for Doherty. Parker shrugs a tackle. McGlynn, now Cunningham. Goes down towards half forward. Here's trouble. Oh, well done by Rowe. Got a fist on it. Hard to do with your offhand there. And he got it cleanly and punched it out of bounds.
So all 3 Franklin goals on White, correct?
Yes. Yep.
So Rowe holding his end up for the moment. He's looked okay in the one-on-ones with Buddy, hasn't he, so far? It's such a long way to go. So Pike, Cripps roved it beautifully. Carazzo to Everett, and then Curnow's quick kick, and Bell takes the mark. So, as Dennis said earlier, he's been pretty good, Bell, this season. There's been a handful of Blues players that have had okay seasons, and he's certainly one of them. So,
Stewie Dew just spoke to Richo about allowing too many uncontested marks in that first quarter, but I don't think he'd be upset about how far they had to go backwards then to find one. It's this kick here, and they've defended it perfectly, Sydney.
It was a poor kick, wasn't it? And Franklin gets on the end of it and tries to caress it to Goods, but Rowe able to cut it off. So that's a good result. So just for the Blues, I mean, speak about the Blues, have a look at this. They've lost their last 11 quarters. Now, in 119 seasons, they've never, ever lost 12 straight terms. So they don't know that. We didn't know that, but there you go.
Pressure on the new coach. Pike knocks it down. If he knew, Hanbury. Simpson cuts it off. Caranzo left it behind. Simpson valiantly. Thomas, Doherty out of the defensive 50. Jones in front. Almost the clever mark. Keeps it alive. Arriving first is Smith. Goes back to Reed. Now a man loose. Jetta. He's got the ball at right half forward. Running inside the forward 50. McGlynn. And he's taken the mark about 40 metres out. Franklin gets a step on Thomas just for the moment. Interesting matchup, and McGlynn eyes it off. Now goes down the line. He liked it after all. Unfortunately, the kick not so flash. Rowe, Curnow out of the back pocket. It'll be coming back shortly. Reed.
Picking it off, eh? Feel like it could be really something very big, Reed. Good kick to Hanbury. He's got the perfect inside-outside game, Hanbury, hasn't he? He can do the both.
Great player.
He certainly is. Kicks to full forward. In fact, I reckon if Fife wasn't having such a year, we'd be talking a lot about Hanbury for Brownlow night. He's had a great season. White's kick forward. Rampy, natural left footer, so the angle wasn't quite right, but he delivers beautifully to McGlynn in his milestone game, McGlynn.
Just been able to set up that wall, haven't they, Sydney? They've got players across that centre line, and when the Blues win it, it's that rush kick, and that rush kick straight to a player that's got time and space to use the ball. And I really like this bloke. I know we talk about the players at this club that have got bigger names, but he gets the job done every week.
6 straight goals from set shots now for the Swans as they increase their lead. Look, he's so honourable, isn't he? I mean, what is he, 172 or something? He's...
When you talk about Hanbury having an all-round game, I think this guy has an all-round game as well, Bruce.
Yep, no, and he's fearless.
Yep.
He's clever. He's made the most of what a wonderful, wonderful opportunity he's had. So McGlynn with that goal. So the umpires with the Indigenous Guernsey for the first time. Saretta Fielding has collaborated. She's an Indigenous artist to put that together. So that's the first time during the Indigenous round that the umpires too have been wearing the flag. So that's great.
Mitchell knocks it forward. Caranzo did okay. Tight situation. Walker swings it out wide. McVeigh has been busy. Butters up again. McVeigh spills wide of the pack. Trying to walk it out of there is Robinson. Can't do that. Slow whistle, slow developing play, and a ball up. So first for the umpires tonight. Subdued, but there, and that's good. Cripps out wide. Everett. Half distance kick towards half forward, getting a fist in there. Laidler. Knocked wide is still there by Shaw. Got it back from Mitchell. Towards the wing goes the kick. with courage. Kennedy over the top. Yaron. Kennedy battles on, confronted by Graham. Graham wrenched the ball away. Tui, close quarters to Menzel. He was taken down. Cripps once more. Tight in there, tight and tough. And the ball up.
It's that tackling of the Swans as a team, isn't it? They haven't got anyone in the top 17 individual tacklers for the season, and yet, as a club, they're clearly number one.
It's
a group effort.
Yeah.
Goods to the pocket. Franklin to try and get it on the bounce, couldn't quite. So Rowe doing pretty well back there. I mean, that was a difficult one for Buddy. Bell misses it. He's got Swans all around him. Kennedy, well done by Yaron to hold him up. Bell to Cripps. Cripps, another one of the good stories for the Blues on the field so far this year. Shaw wraps up Everett, takes him down. Smith, that's a good tackle by Cripps and a boundary throw in.
Let's call it. Slide the ball in.
Patrick Cripps, great chance for him tonight. Not just to play another game of AFL footy, but you talk about learning on the job, playing on the likes of Josh Kennedy and Kieran Jack and Dan Hanbury at times, to find out how the absolute elite midfielders in this competition do it.
Walker after the boundary throw in to Tui. It's a wayward kick. It's out of bounds on the full, barely inside the fence. So a dangerous time now for Carlton. They're working hard, Cripps in particular.
Already the 27 tonight, only had 41 and 35 in the last 2 weeks. So they're on the right track, and that was one of your keys to the game before the game, Lingy.
Yep.
It's a very measurable stat, isn't it, if you're having a go as far as tackling goes.
It is, and I reckon supporters of a team can look at a team and say, OK, maybe we're not quite as good as this great Sydney team, but gee, our players are having a crack.
Rampy's kick made it difficult for Goods, who keeps going. Now Rampy, a second chance here. Towards the back pocket, and Richards, and that's not a good kick either. Out of bounds on the full, so the pressure is good. The trouble with that, if the tackle count is up tonight, this Carlton team is almost condemned by its own actions.
Yeah, so I think that was one of the most interesting things of the night, wasn't it? Just how that might play out. So Everett taken down. And that ball not coming out, and he's going to be pinged. He maybe has. Just know tonight, Lingy, sounds ridiculous, but standing down there with you tonight, there was a lot less tension for all of us. I mean, Michael last week we interviewed, and that was difficult for him, I'm sure it was. You feel like there has been a release of the valve a bit, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And the players, and it does beg the question, why can't they have that sort of effort every single week, regardless of the coach? But maybe they've just gone out there, simplified their focus. One thing, I'm going to put pressure on the opposition whenever they get it.
Well, Tut's doing just that right now to Thomas. It's not a good handball. Kennedy got a bit of it. Walker behind Tut. Tut did well, but then he drops it and Kennedy's got him. So
talk about good tackles. Sydney, they are incredible.
Tippett on the lead, intended for him. Stayed on his feet. Here's Robinson again. 45 metres out. Franklin in the square. Shepherd's a through. First game against the goal. Celebrations break out everywhere. He's greeted like a homecoming astronaut.
He joins the fifth kick first goal.
That one too, yes.
But then there's a lot to like. We saw him in the warm. I mean, it's ridiculous to see him in the warm-up. I went down and spoke to Stewie Maxfield about him because he's just a good mover, isn't he?
Oh, we're good judges. We picked him in the yard, Bruce.
Flemington Mounting Yard.
That's the one.
Great reaction here, guys. I mean, you've been there and done it.
Yeah, teammates very happy when a player kicks his first goal in his first game, and what a great sense of the moment by Buddy. Could have probably easily gone back and touched that one, but thought, no, just shepherded it through.
You can always tell who the really popular players around the club are too. Everyone got to Dan Robinson then.
Yeah, good stuff. So Cripps doing well, gets it to Graham. Reed read it best and gets in front of Henderson and takes the mark. That'd be a good duel, Reed and Henderson. I mean, two good movers.
Both very flexible. You could have duels at either end of the ground between the two of them.
Absolutely. Lingy. So the Blues 6 goals behind here. Talked a lot about their effort. They just haven't been able to get repeat inside 50s. Cunningham Parker, and he was just strong enough through the hips to get it out. Jones and Henderson, well done Henderson, handball at the back. Now Doherty's got Rowan. Rowan's so quick, but Doherty gets away, has to concede ground. Yaron was almost taking off before he grabbed it. Robinson tried to corral him, good kick, but Henderson couldn't quite. Laidler getting back, and a boundary throw in. I reckon Laidler, every time he plays, he must be thinking, I played all those games last year, but I didn't play in the finals. Yep. He's on the edge always, isn't he?
Well, he's got a point to prove, and he's given another opportunity tonight.
Pike decisively, Parker. Mitchell emerges with it. Towards the wing. Reaching high out there was Robinson, got a hand to it. Didn't disrupt things too much. Simpson, Curnow. Now Menzel. Working down towards left half forward to space. Bounces past Jones. Rampy tidies up. Parker. Now they can test the middle. Shaw's away, has a bounce. Almost ran himself into trouble there. Kicks it long. This needs to be a mark for Tippett. Hits the deck, he's in trouble. Well, came back to him. Too much finessing out there by Carlton. Robinson is tied up, and the umpire whistles it up. We'll have a ball up. Robinson in the thick of the action.
Duck, is Tippett a better player than he was in Adelaide? I mean, where's he at, do you reckon?
I think he hasn't been on fire. I know he kicked a few goals a couple of weeks ago, Bruce, but he's one player that I guess had a good preliminary final 2 or 3 years ago for Adelaide, but really hasn't lived up to the hype here in Sydney, I don't think.
Cunningham to Mitchell to Shaw, and then Shaw back to Rampy. Natural left side for Rampy. Wanting someone to come. So this is good by the Blues. They've been able to put Sydney on the back foot for a moment here. Richards, oh, good mark. It was a terrific kick, but Rowan had to be up for it, and he was. And then Rowan with a lovely looking kick to Tippett. There you go. That's what he can do well, can't he?
That's right, and that's what he has to do. I mean, let's be honest. Sydney have been a very good side for a long time. They've been a good side ever since he's been here, certainly, and doesn't kick a lot of goals or get a lot of the ball for a team that gets a lot of ball inside 50.
I think he's an enigma, don't you? He's hard to work out. I mean, he's not a genuine full forward. He's a third of a ruckman. I feel he's an unfulfilled talent.
At the moment, definitely.
Let's see if he can dob the goal. It's a poor kick, always too near. So he misses.
Terrible kick by Kurt Tippett then. But I'll tell you what, he'd be eyeing off now. He's got Simon White on him. He's got 15 kilos on White. As that one's kicked out of bounds as well by the Blues. But he's got 15 kilos on Simon White. So he should be eyeing off doing what Buddy did to White in that first quarter. Get him in the one-on-one situations and just absolutely dominate him. That's where his mindset should always be. Forward, defender comes to him. I'm going to dominate you. I'm going to make sure I kick a bag.
Simon's got a bit of a twitch at the moment. Cripps, like his effort. Curnow under pressure. They're working and trying hard, Carlton. Don't have the talent, but their effort's been good. It's going to be a free kick to McGlynn. Now, where's the action? Up ahead, Franklin wants it high. That's ignored. He comes out wide to Hanbury, who's got a searing kick. Decides not to sear it. He just pops it up. Franklin under the ball. Rowe has done well. Franklin was hot when he came to him. Now Rowe got it from Armfield out of the back pocket. Sends it high up towards the wing. Henderson outnumbered. Richards wants the boundary line and gets it.
Well, that's the problem at the moment. You're actually winning the ball in the clearances. We have a look at Simpson and Benny McGlynn there. They're winning it around the clearances. They're getting it forward, but they just haven't got a winner forward of centre, and it's really hurting it at the moment.
Reflected on the board, Richessa. Just that single goal coming from Casbolt. Carazzo, Armfield, and a boundary throw in.
And on Richo's point, what it then allows the Sydney defenders to do is they can be so confident, almost run their own show back there. They're not too worried about any one individual Carlton player. They just come across to help each other out. They're really well structured. They've got a loose at the moment. So it means they're basically dictating all the starting points as opposed to the Carlton forwards.
So Cunningham hooking back, getting inside forward 50. The Rowe Franklin match up, a good one. Tippett, well done. McGlynn, that's a lovely looking kick. It'll bounce through. Benny's got 2, and he's 150th.
How clever was that?
He kicked it softly, didn't he? He kicked it so softly. It was a caress. I love a bloke my height that can play at this level. he must be. What is he, about 172, isn't he, or something like that? He's not fully grown, is he? I tell you what, he's a darn good footballer, though.
Just really clever goal sense, wasn't it? He actually had Franklin on his outside, but it's one touch, and I guess that's the difference between really good players. They don't have to hang on to the ball for too long.
So the margin now 41 points. Graham outside of the boot to space. Henderson coming up, will be first there. Reid played it well, stifled the hand pass. Laidler, close quarters to Jack, to Parker. Parker finds some room, gets away. Beautiful kick, Goods. Well, Carlton now on the ropes. You can sense it. High ball, Franklin confronted down there by Rowe, who played it well, but I'm not sure it wasn't a Franklin kick early. Boundary throw in, but he thinks it was.
Sam Rowe doing a great job, as we said, got moved on to Buddy after he kicked the 3 goals. I think he's got to be that key defender. Just plays the entire season there, gets the big jobs, keeps learning his game. He's played now game number 40 for Sam Rowe, so he's only going to get better and better from this point onwards.
And Duck and Lingy, the one thing Buddy can't do to him is ragdoll him. I mean, and you saw that then because he's a big guy, Rowe, and he's physically able to sort of match it in that area. I mean, Franklin was in a position to really put him away there, and he couldn't quite. Kennedy, Tutt, Tui, Simpson, Thomas kicking wide, and a good kick and a good mark by Everett. Been a solid citizen, Everett, at the Blues. Played 3 seasons here, former Bulldog. It's a wide kick to Simpson.
3 finals with Sydney as well. Ball goes wide. Rowe outside the defensive 50. Menzel had to wait, doing very well. Laidler with courage. That hurt. That really hurt. But his teammates appreciate that. That was wonderful. Man who's bounced around a few teams too. Played for Carlton, Geelong.
Well, that's the sort of stuff that will get you a game in a grand final or a big final. Johnny Longmire would love that.
Yeah, coaches remember that, don't they?
You must know him, Lingy. He must have played. He only played 1 game at Geelong, didn't he?
Yeah, but was there for a few years, Bruce. Great guy, really good guy. Probably that couple back in the pecking order behind Scarlett and Harley and Darren Milburn there for a while, Corey Enright and Andrew Mackie. So
fair names. He
couldn't quite get past them, and loved the fact that he's just stuck at it. Did a great job at Carlton for a few years, and now come up to Sydney and be part of this very, very good Sydney team. It really gives him a big tick for his persistence.
Beautiful kick by Jetta. So just the fumble by Rampy. He had to fish around a little. Now he's going to go. That's a good-looking kick. Rowan just covers the ground so well, Rowan. He is a weapon when he's going there. Buddy wants it. Hey, watch out, Buddy. Simpson's got him, but he just ragdolled him and then bangs a long one. Oh, I wish that had been a goal. Sorry.
Buddy just dismissed Kate Simpson then.
There's Armfield, got it from Casbolt. Breaks away. Carlton a chance to get them the other way. Everett, but nothing much to kick to. Wood is short, but he doesn't want to go there. Jones is on the move now. Rampy does well. Rampy hasn't been clean tonight, but he's been good, if that makes sense.
Well, he had to do a whole 360 though, Buddy, to get out of it, didn't he?
He was never worried though, really. I'll shrug him off.
Give the little guy a break. Hanging on for grim death there. Simpson, been a fine player in all this carnage of the last couple of months. Thomas didn't have the football. Laidler lost it, goes after it again. Cripps emerges with it. And passes towards centre-half forward. Tui juggling it, looking for a free. Shaw.
To Mitchell, to Reid. So we're able to bang it away here. Parker, good kick. McGlynn's been really busy. Neat. Robinson impressive. Mitchell off a step. Didn't look pretty, but Goods was able to cut across. It was either Kennedy or Goods and take the mark. He'll join Johnny Blakey next week, Adam, on 359 games. Currently 11th on the all-time list. It's been an incredible career. Gee, Robinson's been impressive, 27. A little sidestep there. Can he nail it from here? They haven't missed the set shot. Oh, Tippett did. He did too. So, but Goods makes it 7 out of 8 from the set shots. Will he hold his place in the team? Good stuff there. Is he a certainty in September, Goodsy?
Oh, look, I think as long as his body's fit and healthy and he's running on top of the ground like he seems to be in the last few weeks, he's in their best 21.
So the war cry from Adam here.
Down towards the Carlton fans, I fancy.
How the crowd reacted.
Well, the Swans fans loved it behind me here. They've just seen it again on the big screen, Bruce.
Probably best not to do it, though. Still, none of my business. Menzel, tackle by Pike. And that's a good tackle by Shaw.
You can celebrate a goal however you want, though, really. If you've just gone back and slotted one, provided it's not anything obscene, and that certainly wasn't. You can enjoy the moment.
Get a job on Dancing with the Stars. It was a beautiful movement. But
won't stop the booing, though, will it?
Jack. Well, he must have thought a bit about it before the match. Huge roars there. So this is...
That's better.
And kicks to Franklin, who has 3 goals and does the team thing. Kicks to the top of the square. Simpson goes short, and Armfield cuts it off. So, wow, that's an extra dimension to the match tonight with Goods' celebration with a war dance after that goal.
When he got the footy that last time, Swans fans really got vocal. Getting behind their man, Pike. Laidler just drops it in. Robinson almost, arriving quickly, Franklin. Still a chance for Sydney. Jack's over the football. Parker taken down strongly by Doherty. This all happening about 30 metres away from Sydney's attacking goal. Imagine 47 points under 5 minutes before half-time. And Carlton probably playing as good as I've seen them on Friday nights this year. It sounds strange, but this is the best opposition they faced by quite a distance. Here's Carrazzo. Kicks it up towards the wing on the half volley. Walker. Curnow did well. Back to Walker.
And a good kick to Henderson. If you didn't look at the scoreboard, you'd feel like...
But skill errors like that are absolutely killing them. And Sydney are making them pay for that. Just missing simple, easy kicks. When they put in so much effort, they're tackling, they're harassing, they're doing all that, but you can't miss kicks like that.
Shaw to Robinson in the first game. So it was going to be a sub. Grundy injured his quad in the warm-up. He'd played 61 consecutive games, Grundy, and more games than any other Swan in the last 5 seasons, but he was a late withdrawal, and Brandon Jack came into the 22 as the sub. So big night for Robinson. Mitchell, Rampy's often been the sweeper tonight, Rampy. Good kick. Richards waited. Seen a lot of this from Sydney. Franklin on his bike. Richards goes back to Jetta. He's got such a long kick, Jetta, if he wants it, but does the right thing. Reid could have gone off, but he decided not to. Jones, has he had a touch yet tonight? A couple. So kick from Reid, not good. And Simpson, she's a good mark for his inches or centimetres.
He's terrific, isn't he? Coming up for his 14th possession. And he started the game brilliantly last week. Some really gutsy marks. Oh, barely the 15. Oh, belated whistle. Could almost measure it. The umpire's got a side view of those goals. And 15, well, maybe just using the posts. Tui plays on, goes with the outside of the boot, outside the 50. Wood got a fist on it. Taken high, surely.
High tackle, Carlton.
And he'll get the free kick.
They heard you, Dan. They were listening.
Took a while, though. I think they doubt me, so they linger longer. Carrazzo goes back to the pocket. Here's Tui again. Tui in the back pocket, right across the goal face then, under the chest of Doherty.
So on the back foot, the Blues. Can they hold their nerve here? Richo's talked a lot about Lingy and about their poor kicking. That's a good one and a good choice to Menzel. Rowan a bit ginger, but he's picked himself up. Menzel, safety first kick to Simpson. Can they cut a line here? This is all not getting them very far for the moment. Carrazzo to the Ruckman Wood. Now, what can he do? So, well, he decides just to go high. Cripps in a reasonable spot. Jack got back into him. Cripps' handball. Armfield will get the goal, and the Blues get their second. So just one goal in that opening term. They had a scoreless second quarter against West Coast earlier this year.
It was interesting watching Jones there too. I'd like to hear from Wayne or Cam about this, but just watching him, he didn't want the footy then. He had some space. He could have run hard down the corridor and elected not to, and a couple of times indicated they kick it somewhere else.
Well, it was certainly a patient build-up by Carlton. Credit to them, they didn't panic. Got the ball in deep. Armfield finishing it off well. Reward for their persistence. Long way to go. They need a few more of those in the second half.
Counting down to half-time then. Mike taps it down. Parker did well to get boot to ball. And in the build-up to Goods now. He's got the faithful onside. He's got the numbers behind him. He kicks inside the forward 50. Thumped away down there. I think it was Everett. Off the ground. Hits the post. Well, half chance there for Mitchell on his natural side.
He had Buddy outside, desperate for him to pick it up. Dennison handballed it to him. It would have been a walk-in goal. So Bell drops it. Coming out now, he goes to the boundary line and finds it, and it'll be a ball in.
Just watching that last goal to Carlton, Wayne, the build-up there, just watching Liam Jones. He needs to work harder, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He hasn't got a great endurance. We know that. He's a power athlete. He's got a good leap. He's quick off the mark, but just not able to repeat that effort over and over again. That's what he's got to work on. That's his challenge to become an AFL footballer.
Goods had it a long time. Parker getting through, not quite in the end. Hanbury, natural left foot, but he sprayed it to the pocket. Is it still going to be in? It is. Franklin might have taken a good... No, touched over the line, is it?
Last, hang on, lads. Juggle it over the line. Throw it in. Thank you.
I think Buddy might have known that one too.
I think so, Cam.
So Rowe really wearing Franklin here. It's been a real highlight since halfway through that opening term, that duel.
Under a minute now. Dangerous spot for Carlton. Can they deal with it? Thomas, the hurried kick out. Bell onto the loose ball. This one stays in. That was a clever kick falling to the ground. Free kick to Jones, I reckon. In front of McVeigh. It was very good in the opening term. Slowed down a bit in this quarter. Jones quick to move it up towards the wing. Henderson in front. Shaw gets the crumb. Back to Laidler. Now the switch is on in the middle. There's plenty of Swans in the middle, but Rampy decides now he'll go to the middle. Hanbury is running for him. He's got the football. Goes out towards the outer side. Sent away on his wrong foot. Trying to improvise. It wasn't too flash.
Yeah, Franklin was the target, but he couldn't get enough on it. The angles were all wrong. Yaron sliding down. Tui, clever kick actually, sort of an underground to Everett. Yaron and Jetta. Now this would be a good race. Yaron decides to pull up and just deliver to Henderson. He's got a pretty good kick on him, Henderson. And we're going to find out just how good a kick now. So it's been tough for Carlton. They're 7 goals behind. They've battled, there's no question about that. Their effort has been there. This will give them a bit of a boost on half-time. Tough kick. Can't run off the line, needs to time it perfectly. Tightish angle. Not going to come back and not quite going to make the distance. So that's it at half-time. So
You're watching Friday Night Footy on Fox. Halftime, brought to you by Jim Beam.
So there you go, 42 points the margin at half-time. And in some ways, you'd almost give a bit of a pass to Carlton tonight. They've come out, they've done a pretty good job tonight. They've had a bit of a go. The Sydney Swans have come out, they've been blasting them off the park. Looked like they might have early doors. But all up, Derm, what are your first thoughts on the first half?
Well, the major yardstick for me for measurement is, you know, the tackle count. That shows intent. They got 33 at half-time.
Yeah.
So I'm content with that. They make a few errors. They make a lot of errors.
Yeah.
But at least we know there's intent.
Barry?
Yeah, they've won that. They've won the clearances. I think Cripps has been a really good player, one of the leading possession getters on the ground so far. So that's a good sign from Carlton's point of view. A young, emerging talent showing a bit of leadership out there. So effort's been great from the Blues, though. Let's put the scoreboard aside.
Just have real trouble when they go forward. They just can't keep it in their forward line.
They've got no structure, Sellers.
I know that, I understand that, but that's their biggest fault. They win the midfield pretty well. They go okay in the tackle count, but when you get it forward, what do you do then? How do you lock it in?
They've only really taken one overhead mark.
Yeah.
And that was Skinny Everett ran out to the half-back flank. Every other mark they've been out on a lead, it's skinned through the hands, out the back. They haven't taken an overhead mark.
First thoughts from the lab, boys?
Well, I love the leadership of Cade Simpson. I reckon if they had a few more of him, they'd be right in this game. And maybe Dale Thomas can take a leaf out of his book, not with the ability to play the game, but just sheer leadership, and we'll show why shortly.
We will, and the little wins from Carlton I think have been important. Around the clearances and through the midfield have been quite impressive. First impressions count for young players in the game. Robinson for the Swans, big tick for me in that first half.
OK, let's have a look at the first half, brought to you by Jim Beam. And a little bit of push and shove, White getting into Franklin. Is that the right thing to do? It showed a bit of intent.
And then Kieran Jack's errant kick lands in Buddy's lap, plays on, kick it around the corner. That's like shelling peas for Buddy. Kicked 3 on Simon White early. There's another one from pretty well the corridor there. There was a bit of a free kick there that gave him a spot in the forward line and just a little chip kick out in front of Whitey. And that's when the coach said, that's enough for me, we'll put Rowe down there.
And then the first one for the Blues, Levi Casbolt intercepts the mark there, goes back and puts it straight through the middle. Well-deserved and needed goal from the Blues in the first quarter. And then there was great tackle, intent and chase from Gary Rowan. Was it a free kick? Was it not? It doesn't matter now.
Too high, Baz.
Just before quarter time. He went back and slotted it through.
Yeah, got a 50-metre penalty and made sure of it.
There was a bit going on there. 22 points going into quarter time for the Swannies and doing it comfortably at this stage. Coming out in the second quarter, it was Ben McGlynn. Geez, he had a good second quarter too. Got one on the chest there and he slotted his first goal.
And the first gamer was the next. Young Robinson picked up there, pushed through the middle of the ground, and there's Buddy Franklin straight through the middle, holding it in. Then all of a sudden you go to the other end of the ground. They support. All of a sudden, now here comes Benny McGlynn, which is this very clever goal. This really clever little quick kick around the corner. That was his second at this stage.
So 42 points the margin at half-time, and this was the last play here that we're going to have a look at as Goods goes in. Kicks this. Now, watch this, Mark.
Yes, well, I actually found this unbelievable, really. I don't quite understand what he's trying to do. People are booing him now. What's going to happen now?
Something to talk about. We will in a few moments' time with John Rolfe. And the last goal of the half, Armfield got in and stuck it back, and the Blues deserved that. They kicked a goal in each quarter, and without trying to sound patronising, they actually played a bit better than that, a bit better than what the scoreboard shows. The Swans well on top. But as we said, the intent is there, and it's this first step forward for this Carlton Football Club. So 58 plays 16, 42-point margin. We're going to go through a few things. First of all, let's have a look at Lewis Jetta on this Indigenous round. As we said, quite incredible scenes here with Adam Goods. We'll get into that in a few moments' time. But let's have a look at Lewis Jetta first up.
Yeah, pace out of the middle of the pack there. But once again, his greatest asset is his pace and ability to put his team into forward motion once he gets his hand on the ball.
Well, he's got great pace, but also what he does have is a good leg. He's got a real low, long, penetrating kick. Yes, he can hit the scoreboard, but geez, he can hit some targets too. And look, he's been more consistent this year. That's one thing I've been really impressed with him. His consistency is a lot better. Last year, he was in and out. He was in 1 minute, out the next, but he's been a lot more of a consistent contributor this season.
All right, boys, let's go to Johnny Ralph. John, we just saw a little bit of that situation now. We can imagine on this Indigenous weekend, Adam Goods, such a proud Indigenous man, the issues he's gone through in the past, some that I've been involved in, inadvertently, but still involved in nevertheless. What's the situation? What's the first thought? Do we get any word out of the SCG at all of what seemed to be a war dance directed at the Carlton fans who may or may not have been saying something as he was lining up for goal? We don't know any of that situation at the moment. At first blush, what's your thoughts?
Well, certainly it was directed to the Carlton supporters, according to those at the ground. Now, we can tell you the background of what this actually is. Now, it certainly is a war cry. Now, this was actually formulated by the 2009 Flying Boomerangs, the under-16 Indigenous side, and then 2 years later, the Indigenous boys on their camp, they formulated this dance and they refined it. And they actually presented it before they played Richmond. It's a haka of sorts. Now, it's a collaboration of all the different Aboriginal dancers from across the country, and they brought it together, and they say that it's something fantastic to celebrate their heritage. Now, if it is towards those Carlton people, it's obviously going to be a polarising thing, but on Indigenous round, he feels so proud of his heritage and he doesn't care what anyone else thinks.
Well, you get absolutely smashed in British soccer and particularly in Scottish soccer if you go up. You're not even allowed to cross yourself going onto the ground when Celtic plays Rangers because of the sectarian violence and things there. We've never seen that before, and I don't think we ever want to see it again, to be perfectly honest, regardless of what it is. Barry, you know Adam Goodes, you know the situation, you know the volatility of everything involved. Your thoughts? So we're not going to have any answers here, but just your first indication. Yeah, look, I don't think it's great. You know, there's been a lot spoken about this week about him being booed and probably seeing the scenes on the fence here with security, and we don't know what's going on up there, but it's not great. I understand he's very proud of his heritage and where he's from, and that's fine, but I don't really like to see this. I think, you know, there's a bit going on up in Sydney. I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
The significance of this thing is...
And they don't like it either.
He's allowed to boo if he wants.
Yeah.
He's paid his money. He's not going anywhere else. And the significance of these war dances, they come from another era, and they are significant in the fact that it's between two tribes who do it before they go out and want to kill each other. And I mean want to kill each other. Now, bring that forward. Is it a great thing to have in this day and age? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, everyone's got their...
Well, he says it hasn't been affecting him. He didn't want to comment about it. Obviously, it is affecting him. Yeah.
The issue that is probably disappointing at this moment, right as we sit here at halftime, is that Indigenous round, and tomorrow night with Michael Long doing the long walk down to the MCG, and the Dream Time at the G, and all the clubs are celebrating, and everyone is coming together, the whole football community, to try and mend this wound that has been a long time coming, and we've done really well in football, I think. I think there's one of the things we're going to hang our hats on. And for somebody who is such a great leader like Michael Long, it's just going to be a major talking point now and will dominate for the rest of the week. We'll have more after this.
You're watching Sydney versus Carlton. This is Friday Night Footy on Fox.